Yo guys, my name is Ollie and I'm going to be trying to take you through some real simple breathwork techniques to help you cope with maybe a stressed out mind or your shallowness with breath. And I'd say the most important thing is to be comfortable, to sit nice and comfortable. I'm sat on a block because I'm choosing to raise my hips. If you're tight and you sit at a desk a lot, you might find your hips are like this. After 4 or 5 minutes, you're going to be pretty uncomfortable. So I'd say either a little block or a pillow. You can either sit on it cross-legged with your tailbone lifted, also helps to relax the shoulders, or my slightly preferred position is to kneel, to straddle. I've got a bolster, you can use a pillow, etc. And this just takes a little pressure off my ankles. And I think that in the present world, we really struggle to take time out for ourselves to sharpen the axe, so to speak, sharpen the mental axe. And I find whenever I allow myself to sit for 10 minutes, I can engage my parasympathetic nervous system, this rest and digest idea. And it's often when the mind is most crazy and erratic that you don't want to do this, the mind takes over, which is why it's really important to bring yourself back to your breath. So to begin with, all I'll do is place my hands on my knees and I'll begin to take a deep inhale through the nose, trying to fill the lower belly with breath. I'll hold the breath for a second or two and then I'll exhale again out of the mouth. I'll try and hold my breath at the end of the exhale before inhaling again. And exhaling mouth. I find the exhale through the mouth helps me to mentally relax a little bit, and by hearing my breath, I become a little more aware of what I'm trying to do. Again, if you're not used to sitting up nice and tall, you might find that the shoulders start to protract a little bit. So see if you can sit up out of your seat. We're looking to engage the navel. We're drawing the navel in ever so slightly. I'm sitting up, nice and tall. There's length through the back of my neck. My eyes are heavy. There's no tension around my jaw. And perhaps after 5, 6, 7 inhales through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, you change the breath to exhaling through the nose also. Perhaps to begin, we're looking at a 3-second inhale, exhale. If you're a little more confident, you might be able to go longer, but I would recommend 3 seconds in, perhaps pausing for a second or two, 3 seconds out. So for example, inhaling, 1, 2, 3, holding the breath. Exhaling through the nose for 3, 1, 2, 3, holding the breath. Inhaling, hold, exhale, hold. If this is too short for you, you can lengthen your breath, but we're not trying to find any stress. We don't want to tense here. My shoulders are relaxed, although I'm lifting up through my hips. I'm trying to pin my trapezius, the top shoulder muscles, down towards the floor. Hands are completely heavy. If you're a visual person, you might like to watch the breath entering the nose, coming down past the throat, the upper chest, and trying to breathe all the way down to the navel. We find that in a lot of today's society, we're doing these shallow breaths, these really shallow, short, sharp breaths. So the body is really under a constant state of stress, this fight or flight mechanism. And really, this would be considered a form of pranayama. We're looking at breath work. We're looking at regulating the breath so that we can slow down the mind and in turn begin to meditate, begin to focus on the present moment. Again, if you're new to this, you might find you slumped ever so slightly, so lift up out of the seat, shoulders completely relaxed, hands heavy, eyes heavy. Every time your mind wanders, just gently bring it back to the breath. If you're a little more relaxed, you might be inhaling and exhaling for 4 or 5 seconds. If you're new to the game, just keep it nice and easy. I think after about 3 to 4 minutes of breathing in this fashion, you start to engage your parasympathetic nervous system. For me, I start to feel a warmth through the body, a little like warming up for exercise. And what then seems to come naturally to me is almost a little sigh in the throat. In yoga, it's known as your Ujjayi breath, or the breath of fire. And you begin to relax the muscles in the back of the throat like you're smiling. I think one of the best teachers described it to me as you're exhaling, you're trying to blow steam out onto a windowsill. And as you inhale, you're trying to retract the steam. If you're busy, you're highly caffeinated, or you've had lots of sugar, it's quite hard to sit still, your brain will be racing. Every time the mind wanders, just bring it back to the breath. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3, pausing. Exhaling, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhaling. Exhale. Again, checking in with posture, making sure that your spine is elevated, you're not collapsing anywhere through the chain. Shoulders heavy, jaw heavy, eyes heavy. Just check in with your hands, make sure you're not holding them on the legs, let them completely relax. We're not going to stay here for too much longer. Just continuing to focus on your breath. Allow the noises, the sounds externally to come to you without analysing them. We're impartially observing the information that comes to us. No attachment. Every time your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the breath. It's a lot like training a dog to come back to a lead. Perhaps the older the dog, the wiser the dog, the less likely it wants to come back. But it can still be trained. You're here to sharpen your axe, your mental processes, improving your efficiency, your health, your happiness. A lot of focus is on the muscles, the physical aspects, but we can't get very far without the mental aspects being sound. If you feel comfortable here, perhaps you can continue the regulation of the breath. I suggest when gently coming out of your position, begin by little movement in the fingers, just wake up the nervous system again. And then I bring my hands up to my chest, I give my palms a nice big rub. See if you can create some heat in the hands. A nice strong palm movement, create as much heat in the hands as you can. And then place the closed fingers over the eyelids. Just feel the warmth of the eyes. Sometimes people see nice colours. I don't place too much attachment on this. I just keep the eyes closed over my fingers, and then I gently open the eyes behind the hands to allow a little bit of light in. And then bringing the hands back to the hands and gently open the eyes. And hopefully you found a little bit more stillness than you were before. Namaste.